All right, so the first question was just alphabetizing the kids once you're in an assignment.
You're
so
there.
From the iPad, when I'm in classwork and I click on assignment, you know, it sorts it by who's turned it in and who it's assigned to. You can't sort that. Bummer, I know. But from the computer, if I go into classwork and I click on the assignment, can you guys see this now? Making sure everybody can see what I'm doing.
Yep.
There is this sort by status up here with a drop down. If you click that, you can sort by last name.
Can you do the same, Suzanne, can you do the same from a browser on the iPad rather than the app?
Yes, yes. So if you guys are trying to get to any of these Google apps from Safari on your iPad, the only thing is that you just have to type in classroom.google.com. If you tried to click on a link, if you had a link that said classroom.google.com, it would automatically open it in the app. But if you go to the URL in Safari on your iPad and type classroom.google.com, it will pull up Google Classroom in Safari. So yes, you could totally sort it that way as well. Okay, so that was one easy one out of the way. The next question talked about posting, like if we wanted students to be able to comment on other students' work. So
Yes.
Let's see here. I'm going back to my iPad. All right, so one way of doing this is if we have the, how was your first week of distance learning, right? This was just a question that was posed by the teacher when, and this is my teacher view, okay? So Emma answered her question and said, great, but she also has a reply. So you can see that Johnny replied to her, all right? So when you're posing a question as an assignment, which is this plus down here, and you hit question, you have the ability right here to change, students can edit it, students can reply to one another.
Okay.
So that's one way to do that. Now I know that's not them commenting on like a Google Doc or something like that. Another way of doing it might be, let's see, let me click back in here and see Johnny Falcon. He actually posted a link to his Google Doc. So students could go in here, see the link, read the Google Doc, and then they could post a reply. So that's another option.
I didn't know you could post anything in question.
Yeah, well, that's his answer. So rather than typing something like Emma did right here, Johnny just pasted a link to his Google Doc. The only thing that you want to make sure that the child does is that they don't post a public, editable link to the document. They want to make sure that it's either just viewable or that you make it so that it can only be commented on. Okay? Let me come back here. The other option is going to the stream. And I, the teacher, said, please reply with a link to your completed Google Doc. The link should be commenter only permission so your viewers cannot edit it.
Okay.
All right. So one way is Johnny just posted everybody would be able to post a comment basically with a link to their Google Doc. Now they can't reply to each other this way, but what he did was he made his doc so that everybody could comment on it. And here's a screenshot of what that looks like. So when you have a Google Doc and you want to change your permissions, you just turn link sharing on so that anybody at Good Counsel can just be a commenter. So that way those comments are coming directly into the Google Doc itself. So that's another option. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or yeah, so posing a question is one way, so they can see each other's comments, replying to each other, or posting it on the stream and posting a link to the Google Doc. Okay. Let's see. had a question about how to handwrite on a Google Doc. All right, so we know that in Classroom, if a kid posts a Google Doc, I can click on it, and then the pencil should appear up here, right? So I can annotate right on it. But that doesn't happen when you're in Google Drive. So if I'm in Drive, let me find it. Oops. I'm just going to go to actually my Docs menu to make it easier. Sorry. What's happening here? Oh, gotta get these permissions out of the way. All right, so I have a Google Doc here, right? If I click on the doc itself, I have the ability to hit these 3 dots. And then I can choose share and export, send a copy, and it lets me choose PDF. I'll hit OK. Oh, let me get my little crayon. And in this window, you know, your option is you can pull it into Notability, of course. We know that Notability will kind of convert it to a PDF. Or I can just hit this markup button right here. So markup, choose my color, I guess. Okay, so I've annotated it. I can hit done, and I can save the file. So I can save it right back to my Google Drive. So that's another way to mark up a Google Doc. Now remember, it basically is creating a copy of that Google Doc, right? You're not annotating directly on the Google Doc, but that's your option for that. Any questions about that?
What happens to the Google Doc that is a copy or whatever?
It's a PDF. So my
Okay.
original Google Doc has not changed at all. And now this is just becomes a PDF, and I will just probably save it in the same location as the original Google Doc. It just means you have a copy of it as a PDF version with all of your annotations on it.
Because the problem I'm finding with kids submitting things to Google Classroom is some of them are submitting things and they're coming out blank and they don't know where their completed written on copy is.
That's a whole nother issue.
Oh, okay.
You're submitting it. You gave them a Google Doc?
No, their work sometimes doesn't show.
Right, but I'm asking is, did you supply them with the handout, or is this something that you said, do your work and add an attachment to my assignment?
For me,
Yeah.
Suzanne,
Yes.
basically it's a worksheet that I make a PDF of and then I put it on the classroom all the time. And they have to write on it and then load it completed.
All right, so that's probably just a workflow issue. So they could either do, you know what, you know, they could either do the option of where they click on the document here and look at the pencil and edit it right there. And once they get the pencil here and edit it, it's going to create a copy of the PDF. Okay.
Okay.
And it should stay attached. The other
So
version,
maybe that's what most of them are doing, because only a few have that problem where they are sending blank copies.
yeah, you know, when you're looking in your assignments, what you want to make sure, I don't know if you're looking from the computer or from the iPad, but let me flip over to the computer for me. So if I click on Emma here, I can see that she's got 2 attachments. This is from the computer.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're looking to see if she's got 2 attachments or not.
Yes, so for me on the iPad, when I open it up, many times on the right side above the grading grid, there are 2 copies of something.
Right, okay, so if I click on this.
Yes.
Notice how, sorry.
Yep, right there, right
yeah,
above.
there's 2 documents
exactly.
here.
And sometimes there's 1 and there it's blank.
Okay, so that's definitely a workflow issue, but I'd have to work out with the kids. But again, so they're probably using that method of pulling it in over here and handwriting on it and not doing something right.
Okay,
If you're supplying them with a PDF,
all the time.
if it were me as a student, I would prefer to pull it into Notability, mark it
Mhm.
up,
Mhm.
and then push it back to you in Google Classroom. Just because that way I have a nice
Okay.
saved copy of it in my Notability. That's what I personally would do. I'm not saying
That's
that.
what they probably should do.
I mean, that's what I would recommend doing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways to do it, but that's how I would do it.
Okay.
And then additionally, like this one, like for the teacher assigned it so that each student would get a copy. I do
Mhm.
that
I
because
always
this is
do that.
basically a blank template, but I'm having them write in this Google Doc that I'm assigning them. Usually,
Right. I'm gathering that most teachers are using Google Docs to do this. I'm not.
right. So
I
if
think
you're
that's
giving
the thing.
yeah, if you're giving them a PDF, they don't necessarily each need a student each their own copy. There's no benefit to giving them their own copy because they're going to have to
Well-
pull it into another app and write on it anyway. Like, I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Yes, someone told me that if you don't do it that way, they basically try to submit each other's work. If you don't do, each student will get a copy.
That's if you're doing a Google Doc.
Oh, okay.
Because a PDF, if you're supplying them with a PDF, they have to make a copy of it to edit it. They have to make a copy
Okay.
in order to edit it. So if this one, they don't need to make a copy. Like they have.
Okay, so if it's Google, so I'm not doing Google Docs most of the time. I'm doing my own PDF, so I don't have to do that. Each student will get a copy. I get it.
Yeah, you really don't need to because
Because in Google Docs, they can edit like
yeah,
one single.
as soon as they grab
Okay.
a PDF, they have to make a copy to be able to edit it. So it's not really it doesn't make any difference. So
Okay, I get it now.
okay, cool. Okay, somebody asked
scheduling an assignment. So if I'm going to my classwork page, I'm going to add an assignment. And basically when you come up to these three dots up here,
you've got schedule. So you can schedule it for 8 in the morning, or a future date that is, a couple days ahead. Okay, that's available on the computer screen as well. Yeah.
While you're here in this, I'm going to ask another mundane question. If I want to send an assignment to multiple classes, like I have 3 sections of the same freshman class,
Mm-hmm.
2 meet on one day, 2 meet on the other day, you can't schedule a multiple class, can you?
Well, let's give it a try.
Okay.
I only teach, so here, let me say.
Yeah, you can only schedule one at a time,
Okay.
but you can reuse the same assignment, so you don't have to
Yeah.
rebuild it each time.
Yeah. So
So here's my assignment.
okay.
I want it to go to this class as well. I'm going to check
Okay.
that off. Done. Let me see if it lets me schedule. No, it does not let me schedule. So
Yeah, you can only schedule one at a time, but you can reuse the assignment so that you don't have to retype it each time.
yeah, so that's a little bit of a bummer.
Okay. Well, no, I was trying to make my life, I figured as much because when you go assign, you could assign it to multiple classes and
Right.
then that was the question I asked the other day and that works great. But if I want to schedule it, I have to schedule them individually.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I suppose you could hit save.
Right.
And then maybe it'll save as a draft in each class, possibly. Let me hit save here and see what happens.
I'll let you experiment.
We could go over to the other class and see if it's saved as a draft in the other class.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in that class.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
It's
Thank
just as easy to hit reuse.
Yeah, thanks for the effort. Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, no problem. I'm finding this stuff out too. Because I teach one section of Adobe and one section of Computer Concepts, so I never have to use that feature.
You never have to double up.
Yeah. What else? I don't have any other Google questions in here. I was going to move on to Nearpod and Socrative. Anybody have any other questions regarding Google while I'm in here? Okay. Okay. Next question was about Nearpod and basically how to assign it. So when you're in Nearpod, let me find it. By the way, I have a mouse hooked up to my iPad. I updated my iPad this morning, and it's a wireless Bluetooth mouse.
Ooh, an iPad?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Wow.
I know.
Didn't know that existed, a mouse to an iPad.
Yeah, it just kind of came out in the fall, but they just had an update that came out probably like yesterday. But it's pretty cool, and it's good. It's actually helpful for like document editing. All right, so here is my Nearpod that I want to publish. So I hit student paste. This is the one that I already have going. But basically, once you click on this and you click share, you have this option, and I tried this yesterday, but the kids were reaching out to me asking me what the code was. So for some reason, it seems like the link that this provided didn't have the code with it. So basically, I just clicked the link here, copied the link, and then I went over and pasted that in Google Classroom. And nobody had any issues. They went right through, did the Nearpod.
Suzanne,
Yes.
I guess this qualifies as a Google Classroom question.
Okay.
When you're assigning links, I use links to films and stuff all the time. Is it better to put it in the directions as the link, or is it better to add the link? What's easier for the students?
Adding the link for sure. All right, so if I copy this link, I go over to Google Classroom, and I'm going to add an assignment, or maybe I'll just put it in this one. If I add a link, hold on a second.
It's not going to let you.
Well, it should. Might be something weird with my.
There we go. I just have some spaces in there. If I choose add here. Fine.
Okay.
Wow, this is what happens to Google Classroom when the entire nation tries to log on.
Of course. Why would it do what I want it to do? All right, I have a just see where it is. I wonder if I posted it in the wrong thing. I think it's because I posted it in the wrong unit, to be honest.
No problem. I mean, I was just asking.
Because I posted it, I think I posted it over here.
You did it. You put it in unit 1.
Yeah. So in the instructions, it shows up like that.
Right.
So this way is much more helpful than having it up in any instructions where that would be.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so then Socrative was a similar question. So remember, there's a Socrative teacher app and a Socrative student app.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so teachers are obviously using the teacher app, students are using the student one. So if I'm launching a quiz, I'm in the launch menu, I hit quiz, I'm gonna go ahead and launch this digital citizenship one, hit next. Since these guys are at home, it's gonna be open nav. I'm gonna shuffle the questions and the answers, and I don't mind if they see their final score. I hit start. The only thing that you're gonna be giving them is this room code. So basically, in your instruction in Google Classroom, you'll say, all right, the quiz is live. Please log into Socrative with this link, because with this room number, because when they open up Socrative Student, all they have, the first thing they see is enter a room number. So this is all they enter. Now, if you have the pro version, which I do not, you come over to rooms, you might have multiple rooms running. So maybe this room is a quiz that's for your ninth graders, and maybe the next quiz is a room for your advanced class, something like that. So all you need to do is give them your room number. Oh, here we go. Here's a share button, which I've never even used. Oh, see, I'm not a pro user. So
thanks to you, I am. So I can share the link then.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. But so I've never used any of these features because I don't have the pro.
How did you let that slip through the cracks?
Well, I've never needed it because I only have the one of each section.
Yeah.
So it's never been
just messing with you.
Yeah. So
thank you for the update.
Yeah, no problem. But I imagine this is just going to give you a link so that you would just post right to Google Classroom. Now, keep in mind, we have to be reasonable in this distance learning situation because, we cannot treat this like a classroom setting. They're going to have resources around them. There's nothing preventing them from doing one thing on an iPad and looking at something on the computer. But, it's nice to know that we're not saying that this is a test. It's just kind of like, hey, we're just checking for understanding here. Do you know what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And
Formative assessment.
Yeah. And this, somebody mentioned what is the best way to pose quizzes right now. I can't sit here and lay down the law and say what is the best way. I just happen to use this. I use this because I'm comfortable with it. I like it. The kids have gotten used to it in my class. I like the reports that you get from it. But there's nothing saying you can't use Google Forms. That's fine as well. I like the way these reports come back. Let me see if I can go to my reports. And I think I emailed them to myself the other day. I'm actually going to do this on the computer real quick.
While you're pulling that up, that open nav allows them to use it at any time that they're ready. Doesn't have to be
Open nav just means
quiz
that
open.
Open nav just means that they can go from question 1 to question 3, back to question 2, then to question 5. It just doesn't. They don't have to go in sequential order, and they can go back and forth.
Because usually with Socrative, you have to, as the teacher, have to launch the quiz in order for them to have access to it.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
But if we're not trying to set a specific time they have to take the quiz because we're not allowed to do that.
That's correct.
Then you can't really use Socrative for that.
Right. Well, so if I'm even when I'm in a classroom setting, I'm still choosing open nav because I want them to be able to bounce around from question to question. Teacher paste.
Yeah, I never actually thought about it.
Yeah, teacher paste means, all right, everybody's doing question 1, and then I release question 2, and then I release question 3. That's teacher paste. And instant feedback means, all right, I've answered question 1, and it's going to tell me right then and there if I got it right or wrong, and then I move to question 2. Open nav doesn't give that instant feedback whether it's right or wrong. It lets you go through all the questions and then go back and revisit some more. You know what I mean? Because sometimes maybe you'll get to question 10 and it kind of helps you go back and answer question number 2. You're kind of using the test to help you take the test. You know what I mean? So it lets you bounce back and forth between the questions just as if you had a piece of paper in front of you.
Never realized that was there.
Yeah. Oops. I just want to show you what some of the reports look like. Maybe this one. Oops. That's not. Yeah, that is what I want actually. Sorry. I've got like a bunch of like little windows open. I got to get out of my way here. And I'll click this reports button. This feature, you guys can see what my mouse, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Individual and question specific. This right here is new. I want to test this. I've never seen this before. So I might set up like a fake quiz and see what this does, because it'd be nice if it emailed them their results. But again, I think this is fairly new, so I got to play around with that. I'll get back to you on that one. All right, so I'm just going to have it download. You can have the reports emailed to you, but I'm just going to download them.
I hit that share button just so because you can't see it, and I do have the Pro, and it came up with a URL for my room number.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And a little link that I can copy, and it says, share this URL with students to give them direct access to this room.
Awesome. All right, so these are the, oops. This is what you get. So here's a PDF of basically telling me 21 out of 21 kids guessed this and it was right. 21 out of 21 guessed that and it was right. Okay, so you've got your question specific version here. So it's kind of gives you a feedback on, you know, why didn't all my kids get this one question right, or why they all get it wrong? I must not have taught it quite clearly. And then you've got your Excel spreadsheet that has the breakdown. I'm just gonna try and scoop those kids' names out of the way. All right, so your greens are right, your reds are wrong. Again, at the bottom, it tells you the percentage of how many people got them right. Okay. And then you have your student version. All right, again, so this is something that you could email back to them if you wanted to. Again, you'd have to probably be careful with it if it's the same thing you're gonna use from year to year. But it's a nice, pretty version. And sometimes when I have short answers, I pull them into PDFs and then I annotate them on my iPad. Again, I know I only teach the one section, so I'm not preaching. I'm just saying that's what I do. But these are what the reports look like, and I like them. So that's why I like Socrative. So I can't sit here and say that there's only one way to do it. I mean, certainly you can use Nearpod. Nearpod has little built-in quizzes. You know, you could go from a video to a little quiz section to having them draw something. You could use PlayPosit, which is interactive video. Again, you can have them watch a snippet of a video and then pose a couple questions. I mean, that's not necessarily like a big quiz. That's more checking for understanding. But again, there's just many different ways. But if I were to give a quiz, this is what I use.
What was that called?
The interactive video?
Yeah.
That's PlayPosit.
PlayPosit. Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
writing that down.
that I have that right here. So basically you have, they're called bulbs, all right? So I've found all of my movies on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie, or in this bulb, as we call it, you can pose questions. So let me see. If I hit edit, okay. Enter the designer. So basically at certain points in the movie, it'll stop and it'll ask a multiple choice question, or it'll ask for a free response question. All right, it just stops at certain points in the movie. It's pretty cool, actually.
So it's a movie that you're using, just any movie, and you watch the movie and you decide at what point to put the questions?
Yes.
Or
so it could be a movie that you find on the internet. It could be a movie that you have sitting on your computer that you upload. You might need the pro version for uploading. Actually, I don't think I have the pro version, and I did it. I think I use this. This is from YouTube. And yeah, essentially you just pose these questions throughout, and there's just different kinds of questions. Again, so there's multiple choice, check boxes, free response, fill in the blanks, a pause. You could just have it pause at a certain point in the movie, and you could put like a comment here to say, I don't know, something that makes them reflect upon what just happened. You can have like a little discussion board. You can have a poll. This is a pretty cool piece of software. And then I've got so much happening on my window right now. Okay,
So
a little.
Suzanne, where do these questions appear when you're watching the movie?
what? Sorry, my family is
Like,
all.
I'm sorry, I'm not on, where are these questions appearing when all the kids and everyone's watching the movie? Are they on the screen of the actual movie?
Yes.
Are they
Yeah. So
on there?
if this is the movie that they're watching right here, the
Uh-huh.
questions will just pop up over here on the left-hand side.
Okay.
Okay.
Suzanne,
What's that?
Suzanne, this is a question not related to this, but there's an online program that allows you to just show parts of a YouTube movie. Do you remember what that's called?
Parts of a YouTube movie?
Yeah, you can set it up. You download or you put the link to the YouTube movie in it. I read it the other day on a how do you do distance learning. You put the link to the YouTube into this app, and you can specify what time frame on the video you want them to watch, and that's the only thing that'll show up on their iPads. Do you know what that is?
I don't know if there's another one, but you can do that in here for sure.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah. I can pick out, I can edit and say, I only want them to watch this from here to here, this snippet, you know?
Okay. Well, then I'll try it in here, and I'll try on the other one. I will report back which one's easier.
Yeah. Okay. So if this were, I can show you a preview here. Like this doesn't make any sense, by the way, this particular one. So a kid would come hit play.
If your Google Classroom
Of course, I don't want to listen to my own voice anymore than I have to. But, and then there come the questions, right? So they're watching, oh, I got it wrong. It's all right. Continue anyway. And then the video keeps going. Oh, and there's another one. Check all that apply. Sweet, I got
Wow.
that one right.
So
So
this is a video that you made.
Well, yeah.
Suzanne, you're professional. Woo!
Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, I used the video that I made. But basically, you can see the questions popping up on the left-hand side. And then, how do I get out of here? Let's see. That's not what I wanted. All right. I want to get out of this window. And I just have so much stuff up on my screen that it's really hard for me to see. Well, you're getting the point, right?
You got like 4 little dogs up there.
So yes, I do, right? So you guys get the point, right?
Yeah.
And then over here, so if I just had the kids, you know, do these two for my class, and then there's a monitor here. And I can see, oh, these are all the kids that got in and did it. These are their responses because they were free response. And I can export it into a spreadsheet as well. And then I graded it. So that's pretty nice. Okay. Renetta, I think it was you who probably asked about an audio lesson.
Yes.
What I would recommend, so Nearpod has the ability to add audio, but what I would recommend is that you can have them, you could provide audio in a million different ways. You could do a screencasting and explain everything. You could just do a regular screen recording on the iPad and do that over a PowerPoint or whatever. Or you can use that voice memos app, right? Record your voice and post that on Google Classroom.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So what I would say is that they could open that in Classroom. Then they could split screen. Let me get Drive open here. I can spell it. Okay. And then, all right, so they can do side by side, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they could do here is hit your thing, start listening to it. You can't hear anything because I'm got all 8 million different things going on here. But they would hit, oh, can you guys not see? You guys can't see.
Look, your screen shows launch quiz.
Yeah, this is not what I want to show. I want to show.
Or Socrative.
Hold on a sec. Give me a second. I'll try and reopen that.
You're on your Mac? This is a Mac?
Yeah.
And
I have my iPad plugged into it so that I didn't want to have to deal with any lagging, but oh my gosh, sorry. That's not what we want. Okay, now can you see my iPad? Ugh. Can't win. Can you see my iPad now?
I see language assignment M4A.
Right, okay. So this is Google Drive over here. It's just a split screen. It's Google Drive over here and the voice memos app over here.
Okay.
What I would say is they would open up your assignment.
Mhm.
They would click on the voice memo that you have recorded. You would, in your recording, it would ask a question. They would pause it, and then they would come over to voice memos, and then they would start recording themselves. Okay?
Okay.
And then they could record all of their answers.
Oh, all right.
That's one way to do it. I mean, they might have a couple different files for each one that they do. Let's see if I can hit edit on this one. Let's see if I can go past. Yeah, so now I'm on that same audio file and I can hit resume and I can keep recording again. So basically they would listen to your video. When your question is ended, they'll hit pause and then they'll come over here and then they'll answer it. And then they'll submit this voice memo to you as their homework assignment.
Now, could they submit that to Google Classroom if I have an assignment?
Yes.
For it? Because actually I have an assignment for Monday where they have to record themselves on audio, on voice memo, and then submit it back to the Google Classroom.
Right. All right. So let's say my recording is done. I hit done. Let me get all that out of the way now. I'll click on my recording and then there's the share button.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just share it and just put it right in there. You can probably get it right into Classroom from here.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that Classroom was there as a choice.
Yeah, I just tend to save things in Google Drive because I like to have a copy of them there. But
okay.
Yes. So that is an option.
I'll put that there as a note to them, maybe later on an email or something, that they can save it to Drive to make sure they don't lose it.
Right. Nick Flulo mentioned about annotating on Google Slides. He is right. I've been looking for it for like a month. The website says that you should be able to annotate on slides, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. You know, I'm here. I could open up my slide, and when I put it in presenter mode, it says that there's supposed to be a pen at the top. I just don't see it. So the alternative is using the PowerPoint app, basically.
The browser, can you use the browser?
It's still, the drawing feature in it is when you're in edit mode, even when you're in the browser.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on with that. But if you're in PowerPoint, again, I know this is annoying, all of these different apps. I mean, there's like 8 million different ways to do something. I can't really tell you everybody what's the best thing for them. But when you're in presenter mode in PowerPoint, there is this pen tool up at the top, and you can write right on it like that. So there's PowerPoint again, and the reason some people want to keep it in an actual presentation app is because they like their animations that come through,
I
right?
see.
They want to keep their animations as opposed to converting it to a PDF.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I find that
You can't
PowerPoint,
do-
yeah, PowerPoint and Keynote, you can annotate directly on them in the iPad app. I just am not sure what's going on with slides right now. I mean, again, the website says you should be able to do it. It's just not there.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on why you have a presentation built around YouTube and their members?
This would be a
Patrick Ehrman.
Patrick Ehrman's presentation, because in my class, there is an assignment for them to present using PowerPoint after they've learned how to use all the cool functions of PowerPoint on their favorite musician or band.
And this kid picked you too.
He did.
That's
I thought this was
His
wacky,
son.
but
His son did the project.
Yeah, his looks really nice, right? He did a good job.
from a technical perspective, yes.
Oh, okay.
His son graduated 2 years ago, Gabriel.
So I don't have a whole lot else that I saw on the Padlet about anything else. I mean, what other questions do you guys have for me? And
You've answered all mine, Suzanne. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Mine was very simple because I don't know anything. So everybody else does. Everyone else is like advanced and asking advanced questions.
Not everybody.
yeah, I mean, it's all good. I'm like, I'm happy to show you anything. I know, Renetta, you and I went over Nearpod.
Yes, I'm excited to try that. I'm going to play with that a little bit between today and
Yeah, Nearpod's one of my favorites
have an
because
assignment.
you can just add some really cool things to it. Again, for anybody who doesn't know about Nearpod, you basically start out with one of your PowerPoints and you build activities around it. Again, there's 3D images, there's these field trips you can bring into them. There's audio and video you can insert in between your slides. There's quizzes, there's polls, there's drawings. So yeah, maybe I should show a preview of this. So I think this is the one that we were playing with, Renetta.
Mhm.
So you would initiate it from your end, and then the kid opens the Nearpod app. And all right, so that first one was a PowerPoint slide. Now I have them coming into, maybe they're listening to something and they have to answer a question. All right, now I have them taking a poll. My favorite sports, basketball, awesome. Now this is in one of the slides that was just one of my original PowerPoint slides. Oh, here's one of those 3D images that you can choose from. Super cool, right?
Yeah.
You have to go through the library of 3D images that they have. Then you can just upload or just choose one of those. And again, for social studies or for world languages, again, there's these field trips. Maybe there's these certain buildings or museums or just places in other countries that you want them to be able to visit. There are those options. You just have to go look at them and see what it is, where do you want to take them.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about the drawing feature. So we said circle all of the red foods. So they would come in here and they would use the drawing feature and they would circle all the red foods.
Now for a feature like this, would you set up like already like an answer key type thing to that slide? Because does it give them feedback right away, or
this one, no,
meant to give them feedback?
Like the drawing one, I can't remember. On the quizzes, you might be able to give feedback right away. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
The drawing does not, because
Okay.
it's not gonna know that. The matching might, I don't know. I didn't even think this was gonna work in the preview mode. There you go.
Yeah, so,
right.
okay, so that just gave you feedback, right?
Yeah, because that one just told me I got them right. It wasn't gonna match them up
Okay.
unless I chose them properly.
So basically, if we put this in the and our Google Classroom, they could just like play with this at home and get feedback immediately if you set up the,
Yeah.
okay. That's what I wanted to know actually yesterday.
I don't know if I have any more activity slides in this one. But I mean, it can be pretty cool. Like there's a lot of cool things you can put in here. But again, here's that upload files where you would start with a, you know, an image or a PowerPoint or a PDF that you already have as your backbone. And then you just add the activities in here with add slide. Yeah, where's the field trip? Here's the field trip. So you could search destinations. I have no idea what's in here, but there's some pretty cool places. You know?
We can go to República Dominicana.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. Oh, it's not. I don't. It's not letting me play with it in this mode. I don't think.
Okay.
So. But yeah, just play around with it. And again, if you want to introduce it to your class, just make it something simple and something that's not worth a lot of points, and just see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay.
Another thing that I've used recently is Kahoot. I used a Kahoot in each of my classes. I sent them the link and they used it to practice vocab or sentence completion, and it gave me their results right away. And there's a time, you can put what time it's due and the date and everything. So that also worked.
That's awesome.
Formative assessment. And of course you can put pictures and all kinds of things there.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I know Quizlet has something similar, but I know the kids love Kahoot, so that's great. Awesome. So that was all I have for right now. If you have any other questions, that's about it.
Well, thank you so much, Suzanne. You're just too available. You have a family, don't you?
Yeah, I've been shooing them out of the room for the past hour. That's all good. All right, well, just reach out to me if you need anything.
Oh, thank you so much. Good stuff, Suzanne. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
All right, see ya.